You're listening to the SmartSocial.com podcast. Each week, we help parents and educators keep students safe on social media so they can someday shine online. Before we get into today's program, make sure you join our newsletter to get the most up-to-date social media alerts at smartsocial.com/newsletter. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we send out the latest social media app resources that help parents and educators to navigate this challenging landscape with their students. Now let's get to the program. I want to introduce to you Beth and Andrea, who will share with you this week's topics from smartsocial.com.
Hi everyone, I'm Beth from the Smart Social team, and I'm here with Andrea, who's also from our Smart Social research team. And we are so excited to hopefully launch a new feature for you, Mom Talk. Andrea and I do a lot of the research about what's behind all of these apps and the social media challenges that we hope to educate you all about. So we just thought it would be fun to share with you some of the background work. I am a mom to two kids. The oldest is in middle school. So we're just starting to emerge into technology and social media and having our own phone or tablet. I love what I do here at Smart Social so that I can start learning what to do for our family, and hopefully I can help teach other parents like me. Andrea, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm a mom also, mom of three kids. My oldest is in middle school, and then I have two elementary schoolers. I would say one of the big things that we struggle with is video games and the amount of time and energy the oldest wants to spend on those. Good kid, but kind of have to monitor that a little bit.
Yeah, I think our biggest struggle in technology that we've added to our house is screen time, and for the kids and for myself too, because it's all created to be so addictive. They know how to get us into their business and how to get us interested. So that's really what we want to help parents understand and help parents navigate, give you the tools to work against all those temptations for yourself and for your kids. So let's jump into it. We thought we would share each week with you a little bit about what we have been researching. Andrea, you did a lot of work in the last couple of weeks about our new revisions to the Apple Screen Time Guide, what parents, educators, and students need to know. So if you are watching this podcast on YouTube, I have logged in as a VIP member. So if you are not a VIP member, you won't see all of this information quite yet. There's lots of information and links of how to be a VIP member, but part of Mom Talk is hopefully we can give you an inside glance into VIP and get you in there to see it all for yourself. Andrea, tell us a little bit about what you learned.
Great. Yes. So Apple Screen Time has come a long way since they introduced it a couple of years ago, but now you can pretty much control every aspect on your child's device from your phone. To do this, you have to, and I strongly suggest setting up family sharing. First of all, you get a lot of benefits from Apple. If you use family sharing, you get to share all your music and videos and photos and subscriptions that your family may subscribe to, but it also allows you to access their screen time from your phone. And I highly recommend sitting down and actually taking a big chunk of time to do this, because it's pretty in-depth because of all the different settings and features that they have available to configure. So sit down, maybe have your child next to you, kind of go with it, go through it with them, go screen by screen, and you will be able to configure everything that you're looking to do, from how much screen time they're allowed to watch to restrictions on what content they're allowed to see.
That's awesome. I'll admit, I think you would too, that we are iPhone users. It's just kind of what has built into our day-to-day family activities. So even though I've used the iPhone for a number of years now, I had no idea what all those settings were. Every Sunday I get that screen time report and I just get annoyed because it's in the middle of when I'm making breakfast or something or trying to get out the door. But when you did all of that research and showed us screen by screen of what each of those features done, it was so powerful to me. Even though my kids don't have iPhones and we're not on the family stuff yet, it was powerful in my life. And we'll share a little bit more of that as we get into the next thing that we worked on this week. But here on the screen, we can see just some of the examples of the screen by screen shots that you took for us as part of your suggestions of how parents can go through this and how to set things. I just left it on the screen time report. Don't ignore that every week, especially for your kids. That's a good start to having a discussion or thinking about your own habits.
I feel like that has been definitely with my kids, but with myself, I'll get that report and sometimes I get it over the weekend. And I think I'm like appalled at how much time I've been on my phone. Oh my gosh, like this is a problem. I try really, and it's a good reminder to try harder the next week to not just mindlessly be on it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, as we're talking about this, I'm scrolling through the page. One of the headlines that we included here was some research that said 12-year-olds consume over 8 hours of media per day. Now, that could be schoolwork, that could be school YouTube videos or whatever. There's so many different ways that we consume or create media. So I wouldn't look at it 8 hours a day. Oh my gosh, that's so shocking. There are good purposes for media. And we want all parents and all students to know that there are positive ways to use an online social media presence. So
it is definitely. And my daughter, she has an iPod Touch, which operates very similar to an iPhone. And it also has the screen time. So when we set it up initially, we did the family sharing and set up, some restrictions but as I was doing this research, I realized that there was a lot of stuff that we hadn't gone into that I was able to kind of lock down, a lot of the privacy restrictions so that she can't share her location in different places and with different apps. And so I found that was useful in doing the research.
Cool. So one other recommendation that we make as part of this parent guide and a lot of our parent guides is to start with a smartphone and social media agreement. Part of our VIP package is that you get access to understanding why a social media agreement would be important, or even just a smartphone if they aren't on social media yet, but they have a device. Just setting those screen times, have conversation in that dialogue with your students instead of against your students.
I just think the biggest tip is to do the family sharing. It makes it just easier when you're initially setting it up, and also in the long run, it also gives you the ability to just turn off their screen time like immediately. If you're having a problem and someone's not paying attention to it, then you can do that.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing that is coming out very soon, updates to our Instagram app guide, what parents, educators, and students need to know. We actually started getting our radar up about this at the end of the year last year. We redid this app guide for parents just over a year ago that we did all new screenshots, but now here we are and there's already new stuff. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you found and what kind of light updates we did and what's coming in the future too?
Sure. So they are very aware that they need to put more parental controls on their app because so many teens are using the app on a regular basis. They have a lot more to come, but they have currently put in a take a break feature, which I added to my phone after finding out about this. And you can set it for either 10, 15, I think 20 or 30 minute increments, and it will alert you that you've been scrolling for that amount of period and that maybe you should take a break. And it's kind of eye-opening because, you sit down like, oh, I'm just going to check something really fast. And then 30 minutes later, you've spent all this time doing it. So that's a nice little jolt, like, oh yeah, you're right. I have other things to do. And they found that a lot of the teens are really abiding by that as well. They have to set it on their phone. They don't currently have a parental control to where you can set it for them. They have to do it from their own phone.
And that's really good to know that a lot of these settings and features of Instagram or any app offers usually don't default to the safest settings or what we would want for our kids. So even if we can't set it on our own phone for them, just walking through it with our kids can really help use the benefits of what the apps are really trying to provide for us.
I agree. It not only helps with the mindless scrolling, but it also helps you set an overall time limit on the device. Once again, you have to set it from your child's device, but you can set an overall time limit on that. You can set up all that stuff in the Apple screen time as well, because you can specify certain apps and allow a certain amount of time for that.
So you mentioned what's coming. So let me read through some of the things that Instagram says is coming because I am very intrigued about this. So some of the things that Instagram has promised include viewing how much time a user has spent on Instagram and being able to set limits for them through a parental control. They say that they're going to send new notifications for a student to tell their parent if they report someone or to help them with the conversations about what they've seen. So right now, students can report somebody if they experience bullying bullying or unwanted content, but they will be offering something new that they can tell their parents that they reported somebody. So helping with that dialogue. There's a lot of different things that they're adding. I love this idea of new nudges when they've been dwelling on one specific topic for a while. We know that a big thing is how do these algorithms work and how do they show us what they show us, and kind of doom scrolling that we can get into this cycle of maybe some not so great things. So they're saying they're working on all of those problems. So we shall see.
It'll be exciting to see what exactly they come up with and how it all works for a parent.
Yeah. So it was really interested in both the Apple and the Instagram. My son and I have developed a kind of a motivation for him to get ready for bed at night, that we lay in bed and watch some Instagram reels. It's really just developed into a fun way for us to lay together for just a few minutes at night. We watch honestly funny soccer videos or trick shots or
Fun.
dice or magic things. It's just a fun way to end the day. But when I set my screen time on Apple, which I had never done before we put out last week's updates to that page, I set a pretty restrictive setting for social media on my phone for me. It's just good for me in general. It's good for me, but then it's good for my son too, because when we're laying there and I've said 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. It's so easy to do, especially when we're all exhausted at night. But that reminder and that pop-up from Apple has been so amazing. He's not getting his own phone anytime soon, but he sees how I'm using it and he sees how we use it together. So when that reminder pops up, I can push the button and ignore it. Or I can say, okay, buddy, like this is our time. Let's stick with it. So hopefully we're teaching each other good habits. But he kind of gives me some good mom guilt too, that if I've been scrolling through social media during the day for no good reason and I use up most of the time, he gets really mad at me. So I think just overall, these resources can be a really great opportunity for all of us if we are intentional about how we use it and that we use them.
Yes, because these struggles that the kids are going through with their screen time, not just kids, turns out Apple screen time is for adults as well.
Yes. Exactly. So let's talk real quick about what we're working on right now. We talked about Apple a lot in the last week, and I know that there are plenty of Android users out there, especially maybe kids that you're not quite ready to invest so much money in an Apple device for them. Android users, I promise we have not forgotten about you. To be totally honest, the Android device that we have is so old we can't update the operating system anymore. So we want to make sure that our screenshots are the most current for you. So we are at the mercy of USPS right now with that new one coming that we can update. So we will be updating those screen time features for Android, similar to what Apple has and what we put out for Apple last week. Something else that we are working on that applies to both Apple and Android users is about file sharing. I've seen a lot of that in our school district here, that random people are sharing files within schools, just looking for whoever has file sharing open. So in the next week or so, we will give you some tips and advice and walkthroughs of how to check if file sharing is open on your phone or your kid's phone, and really kind of what the dangers are of leaving that option open.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing all about that one.
Yeah, definitely. And then lastly, we are creating one big page to tell everybody about what anonymous apps are. There are a lot of them out there. Basically, they let users create an account without really knowing who they are. This is a big red flag for SmartSocial. Anytime that we do a review about a particular app, we categorize it into our green, yellow, and red zones. And I would say that most of the anonymous apps fall into the red zone. A lot of them encourage users to be their true selves, which kind of encourages kids to share more than they would if they know the person or the person knows them, which can just be really scary of how comfortable people can get online. So in the next week or so, we will put out an app guide that will explain what these apps are. We have very specific guides for a lot of the most popular anonymous apps, but this page will tell you just about everything of what you should look for and why those are red flags. So we really want to hear from other parents. I really enjoy talking with Andrea in our meetings and talking with other moms. And we are so excited to start talking with the student advisors that we have coming in very soon for us to hear how they use social media. But we want to hear from more moms and more parents and more teachers. Do you want to share a question of the week?
Sure. What app was the last one that you told your child no to after they asked? Do you have one?
Ooh, that's a hard one. We recently got a Fire tablet for Christmas.
Okay.
So this is our first exposure to apps overall. We have locked down a lot of things, so it's really come down to a Kindle. I think I said no to probably Snapchat because she wants to be on it with her cousins, but I know it's a very slippery slope of it starts with just cousins or aunts, and then who else does it go to? But we talked about it and she knows why, but I know she'll keep asking.
Yes.
What about you?
Mine the other day wasn't an app necessarily. It was on the Switch. We have a Nintendo Switch, and my son asked if he could download a certain mod. I think it was Grave Diggers or something. And I immediately just said no.
Yeah.
So I need to research it a little bit more and make maybe a more informed decision.
No, I totally get that. Last year, we did a really big revision to our video game courses for VIP members. And that was really my first exposure to Minecraft. And there are so many things on there. It's hard to know. Awesome. Okay, I think that's it for this week. Hopefully we will be back in future weeks and share more with you. Let us know what you think. Thanks, everybody.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for listening to the SmartSocial.com podcast with this week's topics from Beth and Andrea. If you enjoyed the Mom Talk discussion that we had today about all things social media from a mom's perspective, we invite you to join the SmartSocial.com VIP program. As a very informed parent VIP member, you will learn about the dangers and benefits of social media for your kids and get tips every week to keep your family safe online, and most importantly, to teach your students how to shine online. We have over 130 detailed app guides that cover apps like TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, and 100+ apps you might not have heard of, but your students may have visited or downloaded. Find out more and join today at smartsocial.com/VIP. Please remember to rate, subscribe, and review so we can continue to help more parents and educators just like you. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. As always, remember to keep it light, bright, and polite. We'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day.